What's up, everybody? Welcome in on this Thursday night. It's already Thursday. This edition of the Rebel Report. Appreciate you being here. A couple things to talk about. Number one, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Austin Simmons. He was quite impressive, and I hope you guys liked it. So we obviously played that for the radio show as well. And our radio audience, the Ole Miss fans anyway, you had State fans that were upset that we dared to talk to the Ole Miss quarterback. But lucky for them, we'll have Blake Shapen next week. But we had a lot of our radio audience was like, I now am more confident about the football team because of that, which no interview should ever make you like or dislike the chances of a team. But quite impressive is Austin Simmons. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Glad we're back live here on this Thursday night. Again, two things to talk about. One, the Egg Bowl gets moved up ever so slightly. And quite frankly, I think this is a better time slot, not only for exposure, but also when it comes to impacting the outcome of the game itself. We'll talk about that. Obviously, a big baseball series this weekend. Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Tickets extremely expensive. Crowds are going to be gigantic there in Starkville. Both teams have a lot to play for. Mississippi State, despite firing their coach, have a chance to make the postseason. Like there's a legitimate opportunity. Missouri is their final opponent. So, a legitimate opportunity for State to get into the postseason. And for Ole Miss, they haven't won a series there since 2014. So there's the rivalry aspect, but also they're playing to get involved in the hosting conversation again. So got a few thoughts on the baseball series, and then we'll get to your comments on this edition of the show. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, wherever you get your podcast. Just search Rebel Report and subscribe and leave a rating and a review. I'd recommend Spotify, but it's available everywhere. Also, right here on YouTube, if you're watching or listening over on Super Talk, appreciate you being here. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. Would love to hear from you guys, even if you are not here live with me. This edition of the podcast is presented in part by Toyota of Brookhaven. Check them out, toyotabrookhaven.com. That's the website. It is an elite car buying experience. I had a really bad one of those myself from a dealership here in the Jackson area. I got sold basically a lemon, and I never felt like they actually gave they really cared about me. They just cared about what I was going to give them at the end of this exchange. That car buying experience won't happen to you at Toyota of Brookhaven. They'll take care of you like a person, especially, by the way, if you tell them that I sent you. $1,000 off on me. $1,000 on me. Just tell them that I sent you. Toyota of Brookhaven. Website, toyotabrookhaven.com, so you can check out their online inventory. Have a service department, and it is outstanding. It's one of the highest rated in the state. And check them out, toyotabrookhaven.com. I promise you guys, they will deliver. So let's start with football. Because the Egg Bowl is moving up just a little bit. We got the news today. We already knew, by the way, that it was going to be on Black Friday. They didn't make that announcement like official. It wasn't a formal announcement, but we knew it was going to be on Black Friday. That time slot worked out very well. If you guys listen to the radio show or listen to me talk at all, you've kind of picked up on that I pay attention to and follow and keep up with television ratings. It's just something that interests me. Anytime that the ratings come out, I look at them. Every college football weekend, I look at the ratings. I'm just curious, really, as to what sports fans are watching and how much of it they are watching. So I have been a major proponent of moving the Egg Bowl off of Thanksgiving, not just for personal reasons. All of my family is back east, so selfishly, I would rather spend Thanksgiving with my family as opposed to here because of a football game. But, that's just how it works out. And even Black Friday doesn't allow me to go home the way it should. So I'm stuck here anyway. But also exposure. The "we are the only game being played right now" thing was taken away by the NFL. Once the NFL added the third Thanksgiving game, the college football game was rendered basically useless. The NFL, I know it's hard for some people. Every time we bring this up, we have people that'll text into the radio show. Oh, well, everybody I know likes college football more. But yes, of course. But we're talking about a national audience. The NFL is king. It dominates college football 20 times over. It's not anywhere close. And so once they added the third game, the exposure argument for Thanksgiving Egg Bowl was completely taken away, and the ratings proved that. It was a very poorly watched game. It wasn't watched very much. This past Egg Bowl that was moved to Black Friday showed you improved what I was talking about. The rating was basically double of the previous Egg Bowls on Thanksgiving because it was moved to ABC. And of course, it was not on Thanksgiving competing with an NFL game on network television, but it still competed with the NFL. It was streaming only, of course. So you got the better time slot. You got the over-the-air network instead of ESPN, but you still had to compete against the NFL last year, and the number doubled. It was from an exposure perspective, it was a great move, and the number proves that. And some of you guys could not possibly care less about the TV rating or the exposure. And I understand, appreciate, and respect that position. But if you're somebody like me, or if you're one of those people that think that exposure for the school is what's best, what's the most important, the move to Black Friday was a good one. The exposure piece got even better this year. So the game moved up to 11 a.m. You've got an 11 a.m. kickoff on Black Friday as opposed to 3 o'clock or middle of the afternoon. You're at 11 o'clock this time. And that's beneficial for two reasons for this game in particular. Number one, you're not competing alongside the NFL. Fox is going to have some Big Ten game on at that time. It'll be like Nebraska and somebody, I'm sure. But you're not competing against the NFL anymore. So the exposure thing is going to get even greater. You're going to have a larger audience this year than you had last year. I guarantee it. I would bet a lot of money on it. I guarantee it. And also, you guys know this, 11 a.m. kickoffs dampen the environment regardless. But especially if Mississippi State is having the season that the odds makers think that they're going to have, if they roll into this game 3-8, hell, even 4-7, you're going to have a hard time getting people to get there for an 11 a.m. kickoff and get there and be rowdy for an 11 a.m. kickoff the day after Thanksgiving. So it could lead to, for this game, more of a subdued crowd than usual. It would be awful, in my opinion, if this was happening in Oxford. 11 a.m. kickoffs to me are always bad. You guys, though, have done an awesome job at filling up Vaught-Hemingway Stadium for 11 a.m. kickoffs. Truly, you've done a really good job at it lately. Almost too good. It looks so good and it works so well for Ole Miss. They're almost incentivized to give you more of them. But I wouldn't like this for Ole Miss fans if this game were in Oxford this year. But since it's in Starkville, you have a chance at a rather subdued crowd, and the exposure is going to be even greater than it was last year. So I think the time slot move is a good one, at least for this year's game, and it's always a good one for exposure. Getting it off of Thanksgiving was absolutely what was best for the game when it comes to national attention, eyeballs, and things like that. So there you go. That is your Egg Bowl thought. Also have a baseball series this weekend, of course, involving Ole Miss and Mississippi State. A few thoughts on this series, and we'll get to your comments and we'll get out of here. Excuse me. Number one is it's starting pitching. It has to be starting pitching. That is the story with Ole Miss. That is the thing that's going to either prevent them from hosting and prevent them from getting out of a regional, or that's going to be the thing that allows them to do both of those things. Maddox's last two road starts have been quite bad. Was great at that game in Lexington after they lost game one, the Elliott game. Turns around, bad weather, second leg of a doubleheader, and he pitched exceptionally well, right? Turns around the next week and shut down Tennessee. Was awesome there. And then in the Vanderbilt series, he was awesome again. Best game of the year, 7 complete. He was great. Sandwiched in between that, though, his last two road starts against South Carolina, who's getting beat like 18-1 right now by Auburn, by the way, and Oklahoma did not go well. And so those are his last two road starts. And this environment, I know you guys don't want to hear anything positive about Mississippi State, but this environment is going to be by far the best one that this team has faced this year, and it's not anywhere close. So they need something different than what they've gotten from Maddox over the last two road starts, anyway, including the last time out. And you guys know Mason Nichols has really struggled. I mean, has not seen the third inning in each of his last two starts, and that Ole Miss will not win this series. I mean, breaking news more at 11. If your starting pitchers don't give you anything, you're not going to win. But that is the biggest key this weekend for Ole Miss is you have got to get a better start from Maddox, and you have got to get Mason Nichols. He has got to pitch into the third or the fourth. He has got to extend his outing just a little bit. This is a Mississippi State lineup that can hit. It's a good offensive lineup. Ole Miss's bullpen, as you guys know, is already kind of shaky and inconsistent, but now it's dealing with injury issues. And so these games could get away from Ole Miss quickly without some good starts. I think Friday night, tomorrow night's going to be electric, both in atmosphere and who's pitching. I know Elliott's had some command issues, but Elliott v. Pico should be pretty great pitching tomorrow night. Now, Pico's good. Ole Miss has seen better, though, so they need to be more patient, work some counts. They can get to them. Other teams have as well. But I don't think it does not matter what happens tomorrow night. Maddox and Nichols have got to be significantly better than they were last week for Ole Miss to win this series. You've got a state team that I assume is going to be pretty loose, and an Ole Miss team that hasn't won there since 2014. This is a big opportunity for specifically Mike Bianco. I mean, Ole Miss can still play their way into a host. The RPI and the resume to this point can get them there. They haven't won there since 2014. That you can exercise some demons in this series, but if you don't get great starts, it's not going to matter. And Ole Miss really needs to go there and get a couple this weekend for all of those reasons. We'll get to your comments after I tell you the podcast is brought to you in part by Advantage Business Systems. Check them out online at absms.com. Advantage Business Systems has you covered for all of your Mississippi office technology needs. Tell them I sent you, get a complimentary office technology assessment. You tell them what you need and what your budget is, and they will find a solution for you on me. It's Advantage Business Systems, absms.com. The podcast is also brought to you by Priority One Bank. They make you their priority every single day with their online banking platform. It's a one-stop shop. All you need is an internet connection. You can just do whatever it is that you need to do with your money. Again, they got 16 locations here in Mississippi, so they will make you their priority like they do me right in my backyard, right next to Topgolf is where I go. But they're all around. So check them out. Priority One Bank. Bank with me there. And real quick, if you or your business want to be a part of this, I've got the numbers to prove that this works. I have got the testimonials, if you will, to prove that this works. SEC Media Days is only a couple months away. If you want to be a part of this podcast or the radio show in general, or our coverage from SEC Media Days and beyond, shoot me an email, borky@supertalk.fm. I would love to do business with you, but more importantly, I would love to help your business because I promise you this does work. We can prove it. So if you're interested, let me know. Good to see you, Jerry. Glad you're here on this Thursday night. Austin with the super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate you very much. Did not have to do that. You are too kind. Totally not necessary, but thank you anyway. Of course. You say, I desperately want to play LSU in the last game of the year as opposed to State. LSU doesn't have an end-of-year rival. Might as well be Ole Miss. They did it in the COVID year. Just felt right. So I'm very against that. And, to each their own. I think that if you have an in-state rival, you should end the season against your in-state rival. It should be either the first game of the year or the last game of the year. In high school, we played our big rival twice. We played them week 0 and then the last week of the season. So I thought that was kind of cool too. But to me, in-state rivalries always need to be the last game of the year. It just fits, right? Clemson, Carolina, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Although that's not really a big rivalry, but you get my drift. The Iron Bowl. That's what college football is supposed to be. Is that right there? And yeah, I wouldn't move it. I think Ole Miss LSU should be Halloween night / weekend every year. That one I'm a big fan of personally, but anyway. Always have and always will gain nothing from beating Mississippi State every time they win. I don't think to myself, man, I'm so glad we won. I exhale and say, man, I'm glad we didn't lose. There is a lot of that I've noticed through Ole Miss fans, that it's not an exciting game. It's more of a just get through it and win. Congrats on being famous, Borky. Kiffin just tweeted out a clip of your Simmons interview an hour ago. Yeah, I saw that. I wish he would have tweeted my clip of it, because I don't get anything from what, by the way, aggregators, that doesn't bother me. Like I'm the account that tweeted the clip even put in the original via Super Talk and Michael. So that like did it perfectly, didn't like take a video and make it look like it was theirs, or like he didn't, whoever this account is, didn't share a link pretending that like it was theirs. No, none of that. Like gave proper credit, all good. I'm not knocking this guy at all. I wish Kiffin, though, he follows me. I wish he would have tweeted my link. You know what I mean? Help me out a little bit, get the views up. But no, I appreciated everything Ole Miss for putting that out there and sharing that. That was nice. And yeah, Kiffin tweeting it is brings a lot of attention to it, which is cool. So anyway, 11 a.m. is just, yeah. People don't like it. And Black Friday is not an off day for everybody. That's a lot of feedback we hear on the radio show is just, I got to work that day, and, I can't get off work. And that sucks, because that's not a day off for everybody like Saturday generally is, or Thanksgiving generally is. But the exposure side of it's just undeniable. Won't happen, but if the SEC ever had to kick schools out, I often wonder what would happen to state. In a world where we're in the SEC and they're not, I wonder what happens to them. Well, I do think that there is a world coming very soon, and I mean very, very soon, where there is a breakaway in football. I think that's where this is all going to lead. I don't expect Tommy Tuberville and Nick Saban to save the sport. In fact, I don't trust the Tuberville. I don't trust him at all. But I don't even think Nick Saban, despite being the greatest coach of all time and having I read his book. Like, I like and respect Nick Saban, but I don't think the guy that dominated the sport for 2 decades under previous rules that benefited only a small handful of programs will have the best interest of the overall health of the sport in mind. I'm more worried that guys like him and Tuberville are going to try to just bring it back to the good old days. And the good old days were not good, but only for a handful of programs. I mean, why does anybody want to go back to the world in which Georgia was able to stockpile 85 of the country's best players and just stash them away? Why does anybody think that was when the sport was at its healthiest? The rosters are massive, and a school like Georgia could just hoard all of the good players. That wasn't good for the sport. That wasn't healthy overall, having half a dozen programs that could legitimately win anything of value and the rest of them not being worth anything, and they're just happy to go to the Outback Bowl. That was not a great time in college football. We all think it was a great time because we have nostalgia related to it. But when you go back and think about what you in your school was playing for 20 years ago, what was it? It wasn't a national championship. Only a handful of schools actually could do that. Why do we want to go back to that era? There's a happy medium because unregulated player movement is insane, right? Having a governing body that cannot enforce any rules at all is insane. Okay, so I'm not saying that those things aren't insane, but there is more parity than there's ever been. There is a wider distribution of the top prospects in the sport than there's ever been. That's an objective and arguable fact. Thanks, I mean, it's happening in high school recruiting, but thanks to the portal, they're really spread out. So there is that is a good thing that more schools are able to get better players. There's a happy medium between what currently is and what guys like them want. I don't trust guys like them to meet in the middle. I think they're just going to do what benefits the biggest. Again, I just don't trust it. I sure don't trust Tuberville. I don't trust a billionaire. And Nick Saban's views on the sport could be clouded. They could be. I don't think he's going to look out for an Ole Miss or a Mississippi State. I don't think he's going to look out for you. I really don't. Until proven otherwise, I don't think the people involved are going to look out for you. I really don't. I don't trust it, and neither should you, in my opinion, of course. 11 a.m. is better. I hate early games, especially on Black Friday. If going to be early, would rather be Saturday. But here's the thing: Saturday, you just get buried. You just get completely and totally buried on. I mean, that's when Ohio State and Michigan play. You just get totally buried. No, your game will not move the needle at all. At all. With the SEC and Disney clashing over the potential to add the ninth conference game, could you see the league expanding soon? Yeah, so I guess you'll get anywhere between $3 and $5 million extra a year per school, according to the athletics report. The only way the SEC is going to do that is if they get the automatic bids in the playoff. But that's going to be the trade-off. The SEC will go to 9 conference games if and only if they get the 4 automatic bids or whatever in the playoff. That's exactly what's going to happen. Go ahead and expect that because that's what's going to happen. And I don't like it. In fact, I can't stand it. But that is what you're getting. That is what you will get. So 11 a.m. is bad for fans, great for TV. Summed it up nicely. Huge baseball series. Both are huge. As Bianco said in the season, let's get on a run, and it's time to go and play great baseball if you want to make it. I did not watch the season, actually. I need to because I do like it. Don't want to sound cold towards State. I feel bad for them. I just don't know how you win there long term in this era of football. I feel sad for them. I want them to win when they don't play us. This is a huge year. They have got to show forward progress under Jeff Lebby. He has got to take a step forward this year. Has to for a lot of reasons. So, unfortunately, even with this rain, they will have a huge crowd and will lose if they're not ready. Yeah, if you think about this season too, and how many new faces are on this Ole Miss team, the entire outfield. Right. And I know the ACC's got some environments and stuff, but your entire outfield played in the ACC, in the Big Ten, and at New Orleans. And while I'm sure they've played in front of some good environments, this will be unique for them. I mean, Luke Hill's played in this, Furness has played in this, but Chang hasn't. There's a chance that the environment could get to some of these guys. Now, there's a chance that they thrive in it. I am curious to see how this team responds because if you look at their schedule this year, they haven't played at LSU. That they haven't played at State yet, obviously, of course. That they haven't played at Arkansas. They haven't gone to these or Texas A&M. They haven't gone to these big, real environments in the sport. They went to Kentucky in front of nobody. South Carolina was awful when they went there. Oklahoma had 3,000 people. This is the first mega crowd that they'll face this year. Curious to see how this team handles it. With how mentally tough they appear to be, there's a great chance that they handle it perfectly. But I am curious to see how they handle it. They'll look back and kick themselves for not finishing on those 2 Sunday games against Tennessee and Arkansas. Yeah, 1 out away in both. That was they would be easily on the right side of hosting and probably talking about national seed if they get those. Only get 1. This team isn't fun to watch. Well, I think they can be fun at times. A shame that South Carolina has 5 league wins and Ole Miss has 2 of them. No kidding. Don't get to be on live with you much anymore due to the shows being shorter lately. Wanted to say I and we all love you, man. Thanks. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I appreciate you. Thanks for that. Don't think they gain anything by beating state in football. There's a lot to gain winning an in-state rivalry. I think. I mean, don't forget you're recruiting in-state players, right? And you have a lot of pressure on certain players to go to both schools, of course. But I mean, you saw it this past year, right? You saw how that went down. They're always going to be in on at least a few high-profile in-state players. So when you get the opportunity to bury them, taking that is significant. It helps you not only cultivate a fan base, right? You've got college or high school students that are deciding where to go to school, and if one football program is a lot better than the other, well, then that obviously benefits your university. If you keep beating the other on the football field, I know that sounds crazy, but that's true. That absolutely benefits, but also in-state athletes. If you continue to be the better program, you will get better players from Mississippi. If they're on a playing field that's level to yours, they look like a viable option. But I mean, Ole Miss has won 4 or 5, right? Is it 4 or 5? Yeah. If you win 5 of 6 and you keep recruiting well and you can start to bury them as a program, there's huge benefit for that. Look at the defensive line room at Ole Miss right now. That's what you get for maintaining distance between the two programs. At least people got to see the curtain on the Kiffin tweet. Yeah, you see the curtain in there, all right. Did Edwards just break his ankle? I don't have the game up. I will turn it on the second we get done here. I'll put it on the second we get done here. Did you guys not post a podcast yesterday on Super Talk? Live in Texas and cannot listen live. Jacob, we had at the start of the 5 o'clock hour, power surge in the building where our company's headquartered, if you want to call it a headquarters, are where the studios are, where the main corporate office is of Super Talk. And it completely destroyed the 5 o'clock hour, like took us off the air on all 12 of our stations. It was awful. I mean, it just came out of nowhere too, right? Like it wasn't storming at the time, just boom, power surge knocked us off the air. And as a result, the system that grabs our audio and puts it into the podcast, that also, lost power. And so it could not upload the show. That's all that it was, man. It was unfortunate, but yeah, we had a power outage in the third hour, and it basically just kind of makes podcast uploading and stuff impossible. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, Mormon better be ready. I've sat in right field at State versus Ole Miss when Leatherwood was there. State fans let him have it. Yeah, it's sacrilegious that Ole Miss and LSU didn't play each other in baseball this year. Yeah, that is a shame. That really is a shame. This team got a bone with the easy schedule. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Their road series that they've been on so far, and you can only play the schedule that's given to you. And I think Ole Miss has proven that they're a good team, right? So that I'm not knocking the resume. The resume is pretty darn good. They have 2 weird midweek losses, and then whatever the hell happened at South Carolina. But otherwise, they've played well and have earned their top 25 ranking. But Missouri, Kentucky, Oklahoma, South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina used to be a really difficult place to go play. It's not anymore. It's really not anymore. So they have not had those difficult road environments. How much does that actually impact the results on the field? It varies. We had 2 former players on this week during the show, and I mean, they both say like it's a big deal. Like it actually does impact the results. How much? I don't know. I mean, I guess we can't really measure it, but anyway. That we'll see how they handle it. Draymond will get tired and try to fight here in the second half. Are they getting smoked right now? I cannot stand. I cannot stand Draymond and his, if you want to call it antics. Oh, they're getting smoked. Good. The volume of just clearly dirty, cheap shots, all that crap that the league just allows him to get away with. And it's not even just that. It's he has the longest leash with officials that you've ever seen. I mean, he gets treated differently than the rest of the players in the league, and it's a joke because he's dirty. He absolutely is. He's a dirty player, and everybody knows it, and people dance around it because he's got a popular podcast or whatever. But my gosh, the leash that the league gives him is embarrassing, is really what it is. And so anytime the Warriors lose, which is a shame because I like Steph Curry a lot. I mean, he's awesome. Um, I really enjoy watching Steph Curry play basketball. It's a shame that they share a team because I could not feel more opposite about those two players than I do. And of course, Curry not playing tonight. But anyway, why does he get away with it? I think podcast and Kerr, and some of it is just when a guy has a reputation for like being obnoxious towards officials, I swear they give them longer leashes. It's almost like, well, that's just him, right? Well, that's just Draymond. That's just him. And because that's your reputation, you have a longer leash. People have lower expectations for you, and so your leash is longer. That's got to be it, right? I mean, there's no other viable explanation for why they give him such a ridiculous leash because that's exactly what it is. I think Adam Silver is the worst commissioner in sports. I know the league is recovering a little bit, but man, I mean, just bad decision after bad decision that they really lack strong leadership at the top of the league. The playoffs have been a lot of fun though. Like I've really enjoyed these. A lot of close games, comebacks. My gosh, the Knicks Celtics series is so interesting. Halliburton just his peers calling him overrated, and he just delivers time and time again. So I've enjoyed the playoffs, but leadership at the top of the league is a joke. And until they fix that, I don't think they're ever going to get back, not even to Jordan levels. Forget that. That's never happening again. But I mean, the league was number 2 in America 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's not that now. College football is number 2 in America. But anyway. He is without a doubt and doesn't even get booed as hard as at the draft as Goodell does. Yeah, but here's the thing. Goodell is a great commissioner. He really is. I know people hate him, blah, blah, blah. They hate him. The league is getting more attention and more money. And that's his job, right? Generate more revenue, generate more attention. The NFL continues to do that under Goodell's leadership. And it's just hard to argue with results, right? And since he's been, the league is just growing exponentially, and he's been the leader that has been he's been the commissioner during this growth. It's hard to argue that the league is not doing extremely well. So I know people hate him, but the owners don't. And those are his bosses after all. So anyway, I got to run, guys. I appreciate you. We'll be back on Sunday. That's Mother's Day. Don't forget, that's Mother's Day. You still have a few days, but we'll be back on Mother's Day night to recap this series together. So I'll see y'all then. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your baseball. Be safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys on Sunday.